In 1952, on the eve of his deployment to Korea, Shiyou, then a senior PLA general, took time off to return to his hometown of Mocking, Hubei. This trip was both a fulfillment of a promise he had made to his elderly mother 4 years earlier, and a farewell to his family that the dangers of the Korean War were unpredictable. In Zujiawa, the highly decorated general cast aside his dignity, enjoying a feast with his neighbors, slaughtering pigs and cooking lamb for the crowd. Amidst the lively feast, a stealthy figure alerted Shiyou, recognizing the peeper as his uncle. Suddenly, his pent-up rage erupted. He lunged forward, pinned the man to the ground with his left hand, and pointed a gun at his head with his right, declaring, "Today, I will exact revenge on you with blood." Those who arrived witnessed this terrifying scene. Su's mother immediately knelt to plead for her brother-in-law. Faced with his mother's pleading, the iron-blooded general was caught in a dilemma. He first ordered his guards to restrain Suddenly, then helped his kneeling mother to her feet. Returning to her inner chamber, Su's mother patiently counseled her son, stating that it was now a new society, and since Suddenly had reformed, he should be handed over to the government for legal action. After his mother's persuasion, Shiyou finally calmed his anger and ordered Suddenly to be taken to the local police station. After a court trial, the notorious former village chief was sentenced to life imprisonment. This deep-seated feud dates back to the Great Revolution. At the time, Suddenly, the village chief, abused his power and bullied others. When Shiyou organized a peasant armed force, he first attempted to bribe them, but failed. He then turned his attention to the women of the Su family. In 1927, while Shiyou was away from home to join the revolution, Suddenly cruelly sold Su's mother and 3 daughters to human traffickers. Fortunately, a villager alerted the family, allowing them to escape into the mountains. Suddenly remained steadfast, dispatching men to monitor Su's mother's family for a prolonged period. 6 months later, Shiyou, still engaged in guerrilla warfare in the mountains, ran out of food and fodder and descended to gather supplies, visiting his family along the way. Upon learning the truth about his family's forced flight, he suppressed his rage and headed for his grandfather's home. Little did he know that this move played into Suddenly's hands, the traitor. Upon hearing the news, immediately led the Qingxiangchuan Corps to round them up. In the nick of time, Shiyou and his companions hid in the treetops, but his uncle was taken hostage. When Shiyou threatened to risk his life to save them, his grandfather sternly rebuked him, saying, "Military matters are more important." During their retreat, Suddenly's ambush claimed the lives of 2 of his comrades. He narrowly escaped with the help of Shaolin Kung Fu and a hunting rifle. This life-or-death ordeal deepened the hatred between the general and the traitor. Seeing Shiyou's capture was hopeless, Suddenly decided to kill him to establish his reputation. He led a security group in an ambush at the only exit from Shiyou's maternal grandfather's village, resulting in the deaths of 2 soldiers. Later, at a banquet, Shiyou, holding a gun to Suddenly's head, declared, "Blood debt must be paid with blood," a gesture of revenge. However, he ultimately refrained from taking action himself, determined to fulfill his mother's wish. In the spring of 1948, at the entrance of the Hubei Henan, military region headquarters, a young man supporting an elderly woman wandered for a long time. A sentry approached to inquire, and the woman tremblingly produced a letter, claiming that her son, Hua, had asked her to come. An investigation revealed no such person in the military, and a report was passed up the chain of command to Commander Wang Shuxing. Wang Shuxing burst into laughter upon reading it. Hua's Shiyou. It turned out that Shiyou had been away from his mother for 17 years and had asked Wang Shuxing to deliver a letter, signed by his childhood nickname, Hua. That a few days later, Wang Shuxing brought his mother and grandson to the army, but he didn't disclose his purpose. Upon seeing his mother, Shiyou stood stunned for a long moment, then fell to his knees, weeping in kowtow. His mother tearfully helped him up. "You're a general now. How can you kneel before me?" That Shiyou choked up and replied, "No matter how high my rank, I'm still your ugly son." That everyone present was deeply moved. His mother urged him to thank the villagers who protected him when he returned home. This simple wish remained in Shiyou's heart, and it wasn't until 1952 that it was finally fulfilled. Shiyou was deeply filial to his mother from a young age. Having lost his father at the age of 6, his mother raised 5 children alone, living a difficult life. His father's old friend, Lin Zijin, a former Shaolin monk who later returned to secular life to join the revolution, suggested taking Shiyou to Shaolin Temple to help support the family. Su's mother reluctantly agreed, and the 8-year-old Su entered the temple. Lin Zijin had already taught him martial arts, and after diligently practicing, he earned the abbot's trust and was accepted as a disciple, officially training in Shaolin Kung Fu. 8 years later, Shiyou felt he could support his mother and requested to return to secular life. To retain him, his master made an exception and allowed him to become his disciple, an extremely rare honor for a 16-year-old. But he insisted on returning home, so his master had to make sure he could pass the .18 bronze men formation before leaving the mountains. According to his fellow apprentice Qianjun, Shiyou, driven by his filial duty, relied on his martial arts prowess to overcome this obstacle. However, soon after returning home, he became embroiled in a murder case. His brother, who was herding cattle for a landlord, accompanied Shiyou. Reunited after a long separation, the brothers were so engrossed in conversation that they failed to notice the cattle grazing their crops. The landlord's son, upon seeing this, assaulted his brother. Shiyou stepped forward to intervene, but the son deliberately continued the assault. Furious, Shiyou retaliated, killing his brother instantly. Terrified, he fled deep into the mountains. Before leaving, his mother boiled the few eggs they had and quietly brought them down to the mountains. After their separation, mother and son saw each other only rarely, and he was unable to be by his mother's side when she passed away.